In this tutorial, we'll talk about how to change the time frame of your chart in MetaTrader 4 and why you would do that and how potentially you could use the different time frames together. All right, so let's open up a new chart because we're kind of getting a bit tired of this one. And let's say, what do we want? What do we want? Let's say we want to look at the dollar Swiss franc for a change. And right click, chart window. So there we go, that's our dollar Swiss franc chart. And as you can see, by default, I'm actually going to press this chart shift button. So by default, you can see that that 1 hourly time frame has been opened, and that happens when you open up a new chart. So what is a 1 hourly time frame? If I zoom in now, and if I, let's say, change these to candles, you will see that every single candle here is a new hour. So if I put my mouse over this candle, you'll see that here it's 2015, 10th, 26th, so 26th of October, 12 o'clock. Here it's 13, so 1 o'clock. Here it's 14. So every single bar represents a new hour. And as we discussed in one of the previous tutorials, these bars, the way they're formed, or these candles, the way they're formed is you've got your open price, so at what price did this candle open, or at what price did this hour open, what price did this hour close, what was the minimum, what was the maximum within that hour. So inside this hour, there's a lot of movement of the currency pair, but it's all aggregated into this one bar. Now, that might not be enough for your analysis, and you might actually want more information on how exactly did the currency pair move. And in that case, you want to move, or you want to change this chart to a bit more granular chart. So a chart that is not broken down into 1 hourly sections or 1 hourly candles, but one that is broken down into 30-minute candles. So let's go ahead and see how that will work out. I'm going to press this button over here, and now, as you can see, this is the same currency pair, but the chart looks totally different. Well, that is because now, instead of seeing a candle for every hour, we see a candle for every 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and find that 26th of October, 12 p.m. So what is this? There we go. So that is 26th of October, 12 p.m. And that is 26th of October, 12:30 p.m. So previously, these two candles were combined into one. And that was the open, that was the close, that was the minimum, and that was the maximum. But now they're separate because we're looking at a level of aggregation which is 30 minutes. So there was a lot of movement in these 30 minutes. There was a lot of movement in these 30 minutes. But this is how it's aggregated. So as you can see, there's more information on this chart. It is more detailed. Now if I go into even lower, into 15 minutes, you will see that the chart, so I'm going to zoom out now. The chart looks different again. It does look similar. So you see the same pattern. So if I go back to M30, you can see there it is. So on the hourly time frame, there it is. On the 30-minute time frame, there it is. On the 15-minute time frame, there it is. And you can go and look for 26th of October. So that's 12:45. That's 12:15. That's 12 o'clock, right? So there is these four bars over here: 12 o'clock, 12:15, 12:30, and 12:45. Previously they were in a 1 hour or in 2 30-minutes. So there's one 30-minute bar, there's the other 30-minute bar, but now they're separate. Now they're 4 15-minute bars. And once again, this chart is even more detailed than the previous one. And you can keep doing that. You can go to the 5-minute time frame. So I'm going to zoom out again. And where do we see the pattern here? So I think, where's 12 o'clock? So there it is. So, and I'm going to take this scroll off because it's moving me to the right. So you can see that 26th of October, 12 o'clock, somewhere here. So that's the movement that we were looking at previously. And you can even go lower. You can go to the 1-minute time frame. So I'm going to zoom out one more time. So because it is getting so detailed, I need to zoom out more and more to see more of this chart. So you can see that this is very detailed, and to get to the 12 o'clock time, we have to scroll quite a bit. So this is that movement that we were talking about. Now, for some trading strategies, you might need that much detail. For some, you might not. So there's a lot of noise in this movement, and it does take up a lot of space on your chart. So Sometimes traders trade M5, sometimes traders trade M15, M30, H1. Also, you can go up. So instead of going down, you can look at what happened on a more like larger scale, right? So if I zoom back in, by the way, when you're like zoomed, when you're far away from the right, the fastest way to get back to the right is just unclick the red button and then click it again, and then you're back on the right here. So there's another tip for you. And so 26th of October, so there's our movement, right? Yep, there it is. So that is the 12 o'clock bar, and that's the movement we have been discussing so far. If I change this to the 4-hourly time frame, watch how all of these bars will convert into 4-hourly bars. So every 4 hours will be combined into one bar. Once I click that, you can see that there's less bars. And what is this? This is the 12 o'clock bar. So that is those 4 bars that we were looking at. They have been combined into one. And then we can go even further. We can look at the daily chart. So here you just have every bar is a day. And that is exactly what we looked at in our example, which we borrowed from the other course. Then you can look at weekly bars. You can look at monthly bars. So you've got quite a lot of options available to you here. And all depends on what you're analyzing and how detailed you want to go. So if you want just the monthly movements, okay, so here you can see it's all the way from 2001 up to 2014. So that might be a bit too not granular. So too little detail in this. I personally, I never use the monthly time frame. Weekly, maybe that might give you some information. Daily is useful because it can tell you, all right, so where is this chart going? So here you see from March to October. So where is this chart going? By the way, that's what happened in January 2015 with the Swiss franc. You probably heard about it when there was a bit of a big drop, or in this currency pair, dollar Swiss franc. A lot of companies went bankrupt there. So yeah, that's a historical event over there. So depends on what analysis you're doing. It depends on what your goals are. You might be wanting to look at other timeframes. And finally, I wanted to show you how you would use two timeframes together. So let's say you're trading on the 1 hourly time frame, which is this one. What you might want to do is, I'm just going to minimize this window or make it smaller. What you might want to do is, in parallel to your 1 hourly time frame, you might want to have a higher time frame. So let's say you might want to have your daily time frame, which is this one. And what this will show you is it can show you the overall trend. Whoops, let me zoom in a bit more. So this can show you the overall trend. So here you can see that the overall trend in the daily chart. It's kind of like it's in a zigzag movement or a sideways movement, and that way that can help you analyze the hourly time frame. So if you're trading this chart, you just don't want to trade it against the trend, and this can help you give you some insights into that. Or on the contrary, you might want the smaller time frame here. So say a 15-minute time frame, so that you're thinking, okay, I'm going to enter a buy order here because it looks like it's going up. I'm going to enter a buy order, and this smaller time frame chart will allow you to make your entry more precise, and you will see, okay, so this chart confirms that it looks like it is going to go up, and I'm going to use this chart to assist my decision that I'm making on this chart. And so that is how you would potentially use two charts at the same time, two time frames at the same time. But the most important thing that we learned today is how to switch time frames. You just use these buttons over here to control your chart. There is another way that you could do it. You could just go to charts, and you could go to time frames and select your time frame over here. Or you could right click your chart and select time frames and select your time frame from over here. But I find that the most convenient way is to just use these buttons in your toolbar. So there we go. That's us for today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, happy trading.